Hi, welcome to the Rapid Profit Booster Summit. I'm Stacey Hylen, your host for the summit. I am a business coach, author, speaker, and I help business owners add an extra zero to their business without the hustle. And that's what this summit is all about, of how you can add profits to your business quickly and easily. We're not talking about strategies that take 6 months or a year to implement. These are things that are quick that you can do this week, this month, and increase your sales quickly. We're going to be focusing on 3 key areas that you need. First of all, the mindset. As a former Tony Robbins coach and vice president of consulting, I know how important that mindset is to help you get your business growing and to make that switch to say, you know what, I can grow my profits now, no matter what the economy is doing. Then we're going to be delving into marketing and what you can be doing to separate yourself from the competition and get leads right now. And then the third area is sales. How, once you get that lead in the door, what can you do to convert more leads to clients? So we have business owners that I'm interviewing that have multi-million-dollar businesses, and they are going to be sharing their best strategies with you. So listen in. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point. Take notes, and more importantly, take action. Welcome everybody to Rapid Profit Boosters. I'm Stacey Hylen, your host for Rapid Profit Boosters, and I'm so excited because today we have Noah St. John with us here today. So welcome, Noah. Let me tell you a little bit about Noah, because he is somebody that I'm kind of fangirling on a little bit, because his book is one of my favorite books. I've sent it to clients, I've recommended it to gazillions of people, and I absolutely love it. So Noah St. John is known as the Power Habits Mentor and is famous for inventing AFFORMATIONS, not affirmations, AFFORMATIONS, which help people have more health, wealth, and abundance without working harder. So it's in direct alignment with what I believe. Now, his coaching clients have added more than $2 billion with a B in sales using his methods. And he's the only author in history to have works published by Hay House, HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster, Mindvalley, Nightingale-Conant, and The Chicken and the Soup for the Soul Publisher. And he's been appearing frequently on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Success Magazine, Entrepreneur, and more. So I just want to welcome you, Noah. I'm so excited to have you here today with us.
Well, thanks, Stacey. Great to be here with you.
It's awesome because your philosophies are very in alignment with what I think about, and also with my background from working with Tony Robbins. I kind of feel like you've taken what he's done and actually taken it up a notch with, making your brain do the work for you with affirmation. So let me ask you this. You've helped people from around the world live their dream life. What is the biggest thing that people need to know about how to make money from home now in these challenging times? Because we're all about what we can do right now to get better results.
Well, it really comes down to really just 3 things, Stacey, that I help my clients with, whether it's I'm speaking at a virtual, training program or a private workshop, or working with my group coaching or even one-on-one coaching clients. It really comes down to 3 simple things, and that is having the right plan, having the right tools, and having the right support. Now, let me give you an example of what I mean, and I'm going to give an example of how not to do it. Okay, probably most of you have never heard of me or don't know my story, but my story is I grew up poor in a rich neighborhood, which I know is a total cliche, but it's a totally true story. I grew up in a little town called Kennebunkport, Maine, which just happens to be one of the wealthiest communities in New England. But my family was dirt poor, and I mean that literally, because we lived at the bottom of a dirt road in a drafty, unfinished house that my parents ended up losing to foreclosure. So from a very young age, I was painfully exposed to the gap, the chasm between the haves and the have-nots. The haves was everyone else in the community. The have-nots was my family. So as I was growing up, I was just a little kid. My dad decided to build us a house because he said, and I'm quoting here, "How hard can it be?" Right? How hard can it be to build a house? Famous last words. This was
before YouTube.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, long before. So, but famous last words, right? How hard can it be, right? It's like starting a business. How hard can it be? Writing a book. How hard can it be? Anyway, my point is, so he, ironically, he had 2 out of the 3 things that I just mentioned. He had actually a good plan, Now, of course, when you're building a house, that's called a blueprint, right? You lay it out on paper in 2 dimensions before you ever build it in 3 dimensions, right? And so he had a good plan. In fact, he did it himself. My dad's a really creative, hardworking guy. He actually wrote the whole plan himself, and it was actually a good plan. And then he had the right tools, because what are the tools to build a house, right? Hammer, saw, nail, screwdriver, right? They're pretty basic, pretty straightforward, right? But see, he was missing the last key component. He never got the right support. He never had the support that he needed. The emotional support, the financial support from friends and family. He just didn't have it. He was trying to do it all by himself. Long story short, number one, he never finished the house, as I said earlier. It was a drafty, unfinished house. I'm not making that up. It was, and Maine is freaking cold if you've never been there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not any fun in the wintertime to have a drafty house, okay, that's not finished. And number two, worse was, we ended up actually losing that house. The bank foreclosed on the house, and we lost the house. So the reason that I share that story, what this means for you, what it means for everyone listening, is this: building your business, and frankly, building your life, is really a lot like that. You need those 3 elements. You need the right plan, which is what to do. What are you going to do to build your business, especially right now? You need the right tools, right? And one of the funny things about that is, a lot of my coaching clients, when they come to me, they're overwhelmed with tools. There's a billion cajillion tools out there, to build your website and to do your funnels and to do your social media. I mean, there's just a cajillion tools. So it's just as important to know what not to do as what to do. So it's,
right.
So a tool is how to do it. And then, of course, you need the right support. You need someone in your corner believing in you. I always call it like Rocky, the Rocky movies. Rocky's in the ring, getting punched, and Mickey's in the corner, right, massaging his shoulders, putting the water on. So I'm like Mickey, right? And my clients are like Rocky, because, hey, sometimes it can be tough out there. You feel like you're getting beat up a little bit. I know I've felt that way in business sometimes. And you need someone in your corner massaging your shoulders, metaphorically speaking, and saying, you can do it, champ, you can do it. So, but really showing them the way, and really believing in them. One of the things that I do for my clients is literally believing in them a lot of times before they even believe in themselves. So really, those are, I think, the 3 key components, Stacey, especially right now, that people need to have.
Yeah, I truly believe that, to have somebody that's actually believing and seeing it for you, because they don't have, and that actually leads me to my next question, is because when you're the person in the ring, in the business, the problem is that, they have that head trash. And I know that you say that the number one reason that people feel stuck, and especially right now with the pandemic, with social unrest, with, the economy, all of these things going on, people can feel really stuck right now. So what is the head trash, and, how does it keep people stuck?
Absolutely. And you mentioned that I've written 15 books that have been translated in 18 languages. And this is actually one of my new books. It's called Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money. And this is actually available free for everyone watching and listening. It's sendmeabooknoah.com. We'll give that
awesome.
link. But it's very easy to remember. Sendmeabooknoah.com. So I will do that. And the book is free. We just ask you to cover the shipping, but the book is free when you go to Send Me a Book Noah. But the reason I bring that up for everybody is that I've basically written 15 books pretty much on this one subject, which is how to get rid of your head trash, particularly about money. And so what head trash is, and people ask me whether I'm speaking on virtual trainings or giving keynote speeches or private workshops or with my group clients, they say, well, Noah, you're famous for writing all these books on head trash. What is head trash? So head trash, the way that I teach it, and have been teaching it for many years now, over 20 years, is head trash is the voice in your head that says, I can't do it because ... And then you just fill in the blank. So what people say, people hire me as their coach, or they, buy my online courses and programs. They say, no, I want to double or triple my income like I see your clients doing. I want to start my business or grow my business or scale my business or even sell my business. I want to have my online funnels. I want to have courses and books and all those things that you've done and you've helped people do, but I can't do it because, see, and then they just fill in the blank, right? Well, I can't do it because I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I can't afford it. I'm too busy. I'm divorced. I've got kids. I don't have kids. I don't live.
I'm homeschooling.
Right. And what's so amazing, and what I want everyone to realize is this, and this is a very important point, is you always make yourself right. See, we humans have an almost infinite capacity to make ourselves right. If you don't believe me, just watch a political speech sometime and see how that goes, right? I mean, just the point is we have an infinite capacity to make ourselves right, but this is one area, friends, where you don't want to be right. Will Rogers, the great author and humorist, he had a great quote that I love to share with my clients, and that is, "It ain't what a man don't know that gets him in trouble. It's what he knows that ain't so." So to use the modern parlance, it's not what you think, it's not what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you think you know that isn't true at all, right? Like, I can't do it because. I'll give you a quick example of that. I was speaking at an event, like I do a lot of, keynote speeches, both virtually and in person, for network marketing companies, for chiropractors, for health professionals, entrepreneurs, literally all over the world. And I remember I was speaking at one event for a network marketing organization, a multi-billion-dollar organization. And one of the attendees came up to me after my presentation, and she said, "No, that's a great presentation. Thank you." And she said, "But, I kind of heard it all before, kind of tried it all and done it all. And, it was nice, but, is it really any different from what everybody else is doing?" Well, we talked a little bit, and she told me, her name's Sheila, that she had spent like thousands of dollars on all this other training, all the gurus and all that stuff out there, all the, well-known coaches out there. And she had spent, tens of thousands of dollars. She was making about $5,000 a month in her business. So, pretty good, but she really wanted to do more, and she was really trying to do more, and she knew she could do more. But she felt she was holding herself back for some reason. And so, what I was saying about head trash was really resonating with her. But she was kind of skeptical, like, "Well, is it really any different?" And I said, "Well, the proof is in the pudding. We've helped people make a lot of money, and, we can just try it out or not, or whatever. I wasn't pressuring her or whatever." Anyway, bottom line is, she hired me as her coach. And within that year, she went from making $5,000 a month in her business to over $75,000 per month in her business. That's a 15 times increase in 1 year.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, you can go to my website and you can actually watch. I actually interviewed Sheila on how she actually used my methods. I love to interview my clients to, see what they actually did with my work. And so my point is, what this means for you, whatever it means for everyone watching, is that she actually told me that one of the reasons she was holding herself back, that she wasn't aware of, was this whole concept of head trash, that I can't do it because. And, she had all these excuses or reasons, right? My family or my husband or the kids, and I'm too busy, don't have the money, don't have the time, blah, 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 blah. I mean, the point is, she didn't even realize she was doing it. So a lot of time, most of the time, this head trash is unconscious. Right. But just like I said, that Will Rogers quote, "It ain't what you don't know that's going to get you in trouble. It's what you know," in quotes, that isn't so. So point is, 5,000 to 75,000 per month. And she also told me, not only is she making more money and having, being able to take her family on vacations and trips and things like that, she's actually working less to make 75,000 per month than she does to make 5,000.
That's that's a life-changing amount of money. I mean, just to be frank, right? I mean, 5,000 is good, but it's really like paying the bills. 75,000 a month, you can do a lot more for your family, a lot more for your legacy, a lot more for the world, and have that freedom that you want when you have that kind of income leap. That is amazing. And
working less to make 15 times more. Hello.
That's amazing.
Because if I told someone, "Hey, you can make 15 times more, you just got to work 15 times harder." I don't think so, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was funny because Chet Holmes used to say, like, working half days, which 12 hours do you want to work?
Exactly.
Right? So that's the mentality most people have. So let me ask you this. What is the biggest mistake that you see most people do when they're growing their online business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes. I talk about them in the book, in the Head Trash book. In fact, the subtitle is "How to Avoid the 3 Big Money Mistakes That Even Smart People Make." And I know everyone watching this right now is very smart, but you may be making one or more of these mistakes without even realizing it. And so one of the big mistakes that I see people making, Stacey, quite frankly, is not getting rid of their head trash. I mean, not even being aware that it's there. See, because what happens is we get into habits of thinking, don't we, right? So this habitual thinking of "I can't do it because" just becomes automatic. And I know this personally because I grew up in poverty. Like I said, my family was dirt poor, but I grew up right next, down the street, or my next door neighbors basically were very wealthy. So I'm like, this is really weird. Why is it that my parents are working so hard and they're not successful? Because we hear all the time, well, the secret to success is work hard. No, it isn't. No. Right. Not in any way. It just isn't, because think about, again, going back to the house analogy, what most entrepreneurs, most people who hire me, to coach them, whether it's in group coaching or one-on-one or even one of my online courses, is they're busy slapping boards together hoping a house shows up. They don't have the plan, they don't have the tools, and they don't have the support. So yes, you're working hard, but if you don't have the plan, the tools, the support, when's the house going to be there, right? So again, the analogy is that your business, your life is like a house. You need that plan, the tools, and support. So if you don't have that, or if you're not aware of the head trash that's holding you back, I can't do it because, like Sheila, and pretty much like all of my clients, if you go to my website, you can just see dozens, hundreds of stories of that. But that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making is, number one, assuming I can't do it, and number two, and this is going to sound really weird, but believing you're right. Well, Noah, you don't understand. You don't know what I've been through. No, you're right. I have no idea. I've only heard it a million times. I have no idea what you're going through, right? I mean, come on.
Everybody thinks that their situation is unique, that they, like, oh, I'm the only one with kids.
I'm the only one
that's having to teach my kids online right now. I'm not like, there's people that are teaching their kids online and still making millions of dollars right now, but you're like, oh, well, I can't do it because I have my kids, at home. I can't do it because, whatever. I mean, there's so many different scenarios.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what you said about, you're convincing yourself, like you're believing that. And that's, you're stopping yourself right there before you even take the step. So every step you take, you're like 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake. And it's like, of course you're not going to make the steps that you want. So let me ask you this. When you work with your clients, what makes it different than all of the other business and personal development programs that are out there?
Well, that's a great question, Stacey. And I think one of the things that makes it different is that I'm the nerdiest nerd in the industry. And what I mean
pretty nerdy too.
Right. I mean, I've always been a nerd, and long before it was cool to be a nerd. It was definitely not cool when I was in high school. I couldn't get a date to save my life, but that's another story. But anyway, I always, growing up poor in a rich neighborhood, that just really annoyed me. I was so angry about it. I'm like, well, this is so stupid. Why are my parents working so hard and we don't have anything? And down the street, they've got all this stuff and they don't seem to work so hard. I mean, this is really stupid. So what the heck is going on here? So I just read every book on personal growth, on self-help, Stephen Covey and Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, and all of them, all the classics. And I really, really tried to put them to work. But, at the age of 25, I was so frustrated because I've been working so hard for so long with really nothing to show for it that I decided to commit suicide at the age of 25. And it was only really the grace of God that saved my life at the very last moment. I share that story in some of my books. But the point is that what this means for you and for everyone watching and listening is that, I just went on a really long spiritual journey, an inner journey to understand my purpose on the earth. And I read just everybody. I read all these books, hundreds of books on finding your purpose. And then, of course, making money from your purpose, because those two things are pretty important. And so I think that's really what it is. It's just, I'm just such a nerd that I've got to get down to the molecular level before I understand it. The other thing is that, I gave all those guys, all those gurus and coaches out there, all those big name guys, I gave them hundreds of thousands of dollars only to find out they can't teach their way out of a paper bag. They're what I call the naturals of success. They're very naturally, what I call unconsciously competent at allowing themselves to succeed, which means that they don't really have their foot on the brake. So how could they possibly teach you how to get your foot off the brake if they've never had it? See, so it's kind of like asking a fish to tell you about water, and the fish goes, "What do you mean water?" They don't know. And so those guys, they're not bad guys. I mean, I know all of them. They're all good friends of mine. But they didn't have this kind of situation that I think, frankly, millions of us have. Right. Which is that, head trash.
And it's funny that you say that, because you think about somebody like that and you're like, they never had their foot on the brake. And I see that with my daughter, who's a national level gymnast, and she never had her foot on the brake. She was just really motivated, really driven. And it's like, I couldn't teach somebody how to have a kid that's naturally driven and motivated. Like, it just was like inner stuff. And I think, you having that bottom moment, like that, it's a sad thing, but I just want to say, for all the people that are out there right now, like you having that bottom moment shows that you can be at the very bottom, the very depths of like, okay, I'm done. And, obviously God wasn't done with you and you had a lot of things to change the world. And I'm so thankful you're still here. So let's talk about the affirmations, because like I said, I give these books away. I give them as prizes when I do challenges in my Facebook group, Optimize Your Business and Your Life. But it's like highlighted, it's marked, it's dog-eared. And so let's talk a little bit about what makes this different, the affirmation.
Absolutely. And I do want everyone watching to know that we are saying a new word. It's affirmations with an O, not affirm. We're not saying it wrong. It's not affirmations and we don't know what we're saying. It is, in fact, affirmations, and you go to AFFORMATIONS.com and see exactly what we're talking. So if you've ever read a self-help book, of course, you know what an affirmation is. An affirmation, as we all know, is a statement of something you want to be true. So I like to play a fun game, like when I'm doing my live events or virtual presentations or private workshops, with clients. Is I like to have everyone, stand up, even if it's virtually, have everyone stand up and say, okay, we're going to say an old school affirmation, just like the gurus taught us. Everybody say, I am rich. All right. Everybody says, I am rich. And you know what happens next? Everybody starts laughing. And I go, what are you laughing at? They say, well, I'm not rich. And I say, but you just said you were. And they go, yeah, but I don't believe it. See, now that's the problem, right? We say these positive statements and we want to believe them, but inside our head, we just don't believe it, right?
And the head trash starts.
And the head trash starts, right? And so, and I know this because I did the exact same thing for years and years and years. So I remember, back in 1997, I was a broke college student. I've been reading all those books, like I shared earlier, reading every single, and everyone said the same thing. You got to use these statements and put them in the pot. So I did everything they said. I, had them post-it notes. I'm happy, I'm rich, I'm successful. No, I'm not. I'm broke, unhappy, and miserable, right? So it's like, why isn't this working? So it's so frustrating. So I'm doing what they said. I'm reading the book and I'm following the directions. Why is this not working? I'm so frustrated. So one morning, it was April 1997. And I had an epiphany that changed my life. It was actually in the showers. In my book of affirmations, I call it the shower that changed everything. So this is the shower that changed everything, and has gone on to change over 1 million lives, in fact. But anyway, so in this particular shower, I was thinking about exactly what I'm talking about right now. I mean, why is it that I'm using these affirmations, doing everything they say, and I'm not getting any results? What is missing? What aren't they telling us? And I said, well, what are we're talking about beliefs. But what's a belief? A belief is just a thought. Well, what's thought? And I realized that human thought is the process of asking and searching for answers to questions, not statements, but questions. For example, if I ask you, why is the sky blue? Your brain instantly goes, why is the sky blue, right? You instantly start to search for the answer. Right. Even if you don't know the answer, it's like a Google search or a computer searching its files, right? Your brain's going through its files, and searching for the answer. So I said, well, wait a second. If the human mind is automatically searching for answers to questions, why are we going around making statements we don't believe? Why don't we just cut out the middleman? And I said, well, what would that look like? Let's see, you got that statement or affirmation, I am rich, to which your brain says, yeah, right? And in my books, I actually call it the yeah, right response, because your brain goes, yeah, right?
For sure.
So I said, well, if that's the statement, then what would the question be? And then I said, why am I so rich? Why am I so rich? And if you ask yourself that question, what immediately happens, you start to search for the answer, right? So what we're talking about, what I teach in my programs and in my courses and with our coaching clients is the law of sowing and reaping. As you sow, so shall you reap. Of course, this is nothing new. It's been taught for centuries, but what are we sowing? We're sowing seeds of thought. And yet what are most people doing? Sowing lousy thought seeds, right? Mm-hmm. Also known as head trash. So I said, what if instead of sowing lousy thoughts, what if we just, instead of asking lousy questions that lead to lousy answers, create a lousy life? What if we just flip the whole thing on its head, start asking empowering questions that lead to phenomenal answers and create a wonderful life? And as I was standing there in the shower, April 1997, I said, holy cow, I think I just invented something. And so I had to give it a name. And the name I gave was Affirmations. And you can learn more, again, at AFFORMATIONS.com and actually get my Affirmations system. And so long story short, I literally sat down, I wrote a book about it. And this was my very first book called Permission to Succeed, which, as you mentioned earlier, was published by the Chicken Soup for the Soul publisher. In fact, Jack Canfield, my good friend, gave me my very first celebrity testimonial way back over 20 years ago. And he said, Noah St. John's work represents one of the most significant breakthroughs in the study of success in decades if you want to eliminate self-sabotage, and the fear of success from your life forever, you owe it to yourself to get his program. So, I mean, that came from my good friend, Jack.
I love him. He's amazing.
Yes,
and so the thing is that what I love about this, I worked with Tony Robbins. I was vice president of consulting for his business mastery, right? So we're on the business side of it, not the firewalking side. Right. But the thing was, like you said, is that you feel like you're lying to yourself when you say these affirmations. Okay. And so I love when you put it in a question form, like instead of saying, I find opportunities everywhere, and you're like, oh yeah, right, right? Instead it's like, why do I find opportunities everywhere I look? And so I love to, choose one of these, and like your brain fills in that answer. And Tony always said, ask yourself a better question. And this whole book is full of the better questions that you should be asking yourself, like in every area of your life, from health to, like if you say, oh, I'm fit and healthy, and it's like, yeah, no, you're not, right? But if you say, why am I fit and healthy? Well, because I'm doing spinning every morning, because I'm eating the right things, and your brain just fills that in. So, in terms of a rapid profit booster, starting to use the mindset and go about this from your day, at each and every day, is going to have a huge impact. We just saw what you said about your client going from $5,000 a month to $75,000 a month. It starts right here. So where can people find out more about this and your programs that you have to help people?
Yes, absolutely. So the place to start is AFFORMATIONS.com. That's definitely the best place to start, where you can get my my most popular online program, Affirmation System. Over 1 million people have now literally made the switch from affirmations to affirmations at affirmations.com. And you can also get my new book, Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money, for free at sendmeabooknoah.com. Sendmeabooknoah.com, very easy to remember. And if you just want to learn more about our programs, just go to my main website, which is noahstjohn.com. That's my name, just like it sounds, noahstjohn.com. And also, if you'd like to apply to get coaching from me, just go to breakthroughwithnoah.com, Breakthrough with Noah, also just like it sounds. And there's a little video there, and just fill out the application, but breakthroughwithnoah.com if you'd like to get some coaching with me, and we'll help you get some great results too.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing with everybody here today. And just know that no matter where people are right now, no matter what's happened so far this year and where you're at, you can go up from there, and it all starts inside. So remember, don't just learn, implement. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did, but just watching these interviews are not going to get you the results that you want. In order to get that boost in profits, you need to take action and implement. So I want you to take a minute now, write down on your calendar what you're going to do, highlight in your notes the great action steps you identified, and put it on the calendar right now. Now, if you need some additional support in growing your business, then reach out to me for a free session at staceyhylen.com. We will help you add a zero to your business without the hustle. In the last 20 years, I have worked with business owners just starting their business at a zero, to people from 6 to 7 figures, people from 7 to 8 figures, even working with clients to go all the way from 6 figures, 8 figures in their business without the hustle. And that's a key component, because who wants to work 1 million hours to make money and then have no life left? So if you would like some help with that, then go to staceyhylen.com and book a free session. No obligation, no pressure. We're going to help you figure out what are the next steps for you.